Hello, hello. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, good
Good
evening.
evening.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you all. How have you been? How has your day been? How are you? How are you? How are you, friends? How are you, families? How are you, everyone? Basically, this is Reverend Tony and Dolly saying, good
Good
evening to
evening to
you and
everyone.
happy Wednesday, right?
Yeah, we got it.
Right. You're welcome to the Wise Builders, a weekly talk show episode, that we just talk and deliberate about issues bothering us, relationship matters, counseling in line with the Word of God.
Yeah,
On this platform, nobody is an expert. We present and we are being led by the Holy Spirit of God, and
yeah,
as He has put it in our mouth, we say it out from our pastoral care to our normal lifestyle, to family, to friend,
yeah.
to people. We gather experiences over the time. And then, I was thinking this week, we're almost going for almost 6 years, 5 years and a half that this platform started to go be the glory. And it's only getting better by the day.
Yeah.
So if you're there, you're listening to us, you're a returnees, you're one of our friends or followers, you are welcome.
Welcome.
And if tonight happens to be your first time on the Wise Builders, you are welcome. So the way we roll here is simple. We make things lively.
Yeah,
We talk about it. We expect you to share your experience, ask questions. When people ask questions, I always say it doesn't necessarily mean the question is about them. It's a disclaimer, and then if you want to assume it's about them, every one of us we're entitled to our opinion. The most important thing we want here, and like one of the things I always say, the Bible is very clear. There's no temptation that befalls anyone. There's
yeah,
nothing that you're going through that
yeah,
somebody else has not gone through.
yeah,
So spill the beans, let's talk about it. Let's know what to be done, and then we can always get better. There's always room for improvement. So tonight, without much ado, we want to talk about trust issues in a relationship.
mm,
Trust issues. Immediately, some people saw it today. One or two people tried to find out from me what's going on regarding their own relationship, try to find out. And then now we want to talk about it broadly.
yeah,
So we're going to talk about when we mean relationship, most of the time it doesn't really mean marital relationship. It could be friendship, it could be colleague, it could be family,
yeah.
and it could be marital. The
Mhm.
most important thing is trust in life is very, very important.
Yeah,
And once trust is broken, oh my God, it
mm,
affects every area of our
everything.
life.
Yeah,
It affects your dealing with your friends, your dealings with your partner, your
yeah,
dealing with your colleague. You're just suspicious
yeah.
generally. So there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. So I want to start. But do you want to say anything before?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I want to speak about trust, the definition of trust. Let's look at the definition of trust, what trust means. And I want you to look at it and try to look at what trust means for you. You know, some people say everything can be broken in life, but once trust is broken,
Yeah.
it can be rebuilt. We are going to come to that aspect of can we rebuild trust? Because
Mm-hmm.
some people believe that you cannot rebuild trust. Once it's
Yeah,
broken, it's broken. So trust is the belief that another person is honest and reliable. That's what we call trust. You have this belief. Please drop your comment. You're welcome, everyone. I can't see you yet if you don't say hi. So if you want to be acknowledged, just say hi. Let's know you're there. So
mm,
trust is the belief that another person is honest and reliable. It's the feeling that you can depend on that person because they offer safety and security.
yeah,
Trust has been described as a firm belief in the ability, strength, reliability, and truth of someone or something. Can you see that this is very deep?
mm,
So the belief of depending on somebody. So I just let me give you an example. There's two of us now. I can sleep and I can depend on my husband that is covering my back.
certainly.
Same for him.
Yeah,
So same, some of us has friends, we have family, we
Yeah.
have parents, you know, that we trust them. Because most times when we talk about trust relationship, people always ascribe it alone to marital
Yep.
or sexual relationship, but
Yep.
it's deeper, it's broader. But it looks like that's the one that eats us most,
Yep.
because we really trust. You know, you hear this thing, I trust him so much,
Mhm.
I trust her so much. So it's that belief that that person is reliable and honest, you know. And it's, you know, so you believe in their strength, you believe in their reliability, and that's just it. So it is very critical aspect of any relationship, because without trust, two romantic partners, is very difficult for you to have healthy, long lasting relationship. It's just like I'm putting my wallet down. I'm not even trust. I don't trust my
Mm.
husband that's going to nick my money,
Mhm.
or he doesn't trust me, or your account. Some of us cannot even leave our account open to our
Yeah.
spouses
Yeah.
or friends at work. Some of us even in church, they bring it down to church. You don't even. I know. Oh, it's so ridiculous when people go to church and they cannot even eat in church. It's down to trust. They can't eat. They believe something, but somebody there can poison them. So it's
Yeah.
so broad what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So but it stems out from people that have experienced some kind of betrayal,
Mhm.
unfaithfulness, you know.
Yeah.
So they develop. So you can't really blame them. The way we react to things actually differ in life. So I try to see and understand, not really empathize. Sometimes it's not really that, but try to understand from where people
I
are
come
coming
from.
from, and that's really to empathize with them, really. But just to imagine, put yourself in their shoes, so you may not really be in their shoes. So these are what is called trust issues. I don't know if Reverend wants to say something before we go on.
Yeah, I want to look at trust as it has to do with marriage specifically,
Okay.
and I want to look at it from the biblical point of view. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32 says, "This is why God said, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Every marriage needs to be free and to be honest. As a matter of fact, there's no difference as far as I'm concerned between truth and being honest. Truth means saying it exactly as it is. Being honest means refusal to lie. So it's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. So without trust, without honesty, you will fail to solve simplest marital problems because there is distrust. Once you lay down that foundation that I trust my husband, I trust my wife trusts me, and I'm not going to betray that trust. Simply just in marriage, you can solve it with ease because you trust each other. So lying to your spouse or giving false impressions. We've said this on this platform before. When people are courting, you give them the impression that yes, my daddy owns the whole world, whereas it's the opposite. Either a man or a woman. So lying to your spouse, to your friend, to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or giving false impression will leave your spouse ignorant of the facts. And when the facts are out, no matter the number of years that it comes out, it's going to be a problem in the marriage. So if you are going to continue to be in a relationship, we have to be honest. We have to be truthful. We have to be
Right. Sorry. We're back on. So sorry. We lost the for some reason the the laptop or internet just bounced us out. That's one of the bad thing. Sorry, 1 second. That's one of the bad thing about this stuff online. So apologies. We just continue from where we are. I'm happy we didn't lose the um. So the only one we had to stop was Instagram. So 1 second. So we just start all over. So, like Reverend was talking about, do you want to go? So, apologies to every of our viewers for one reason or the other. The laptop just bounced us out of the StreamYard studio, so we had to relog in. That's technology, internet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have tried to define trust and honesty. The summary of it all is that you, as a spouse, are you trustworthy? If you expect your spouse to be trustworthy, then you must lay the foundation of trustworthiness.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, he said it. Like I said, he took his own from the Like one of the good things we don't discuss, we just pick topic, but we don't discuss about it before coming online because we want to be kind of organic, to be fresh, and let it just stream out nice. I wanted to talk about it from a very broad
yep.
perspective, which includes because I see people even in church today. But the most important thing is we're giving a definition of what trust is, which is the belief that that person is honest and reliable and they
Yep.
are dependable and reliable. But unfortunately, they mess up. But I find out that people go to church nowadays, they can't even trust.
Mm-hmm.
People can't give their testimony in church again because they feel
Yeah.
somebody is there. They can't eat. I know some people that will not eat in church because they believe somebody can poison them.
Yep.
Also, it's all as a result of one thing or the other that will go into. But like what Reverend is saying is, trust. He took it from the biblical perspective and he focused on the relationship aspect of it. Which I can say trust manifests in a lot of ways. If you find it difficult to trust somebody, you not to once your trust is broken in one side, you will
Yep.
not trust any other person.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just the problem.
Mm.
And that's why we have to be careful. Okay, let's assume maybe he disappointed me now.
No.
The rebound effect will not be on him alone. It
Yeah.
will be on all that I'm going to associate with, even on friends.
In
So
fact, let me quickly say this. The guilty, the one that has lied, is going to be guilty for as long as he
mm,
remembers or she remembers that he has lied to the other party.
and that's why
So it's going to affect the physical, the emotional, everything about the relationship.
yeah, we're still going to talk about
Yeah.
all those. I have that in mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're guilty, when you're lying, you're lying.
Yeah.
But people that are lying do not know that they're going to find out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you know that, or if you know that I'm going to find out that you lied to me, why would you
Mhm.
lie?
Okay.
They always think in their head that they will not, and that's where this thing stems from.
Mm.
That Dolakwa will not find out.
Yeah.
Now, if Dolakwa finds out, you see, it's not even about that lying.
Mm.
It's about building trust over the time. Trust is not built. May I just say this or retreat on this fact that trust is not built overnight.
No. Yeah.
It's a thing
It
that
takes time,
it's
yeah.
a time.
Mm.
It's timeline. You get to know this person.
Mm.
You enjoy their friendship. You pour your all to them, and that's when trust is broken.
Mm.
Because it takes two. They say
Yeah.
to tango.
Yeah.
You pour your all to this person. You do everything for this person, and you're honest, like Reverend said. And this person, you now find out that everything this person has been saying,
Mhm.
in fact, you start puncturing holes
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah.
So you won't be able.
Yeah. Are you trying to say that one lie can destroy 100 truths that have been said before?
It can destroy a lot. If I believe so much in you
Mm-hmm.
and I trust we're talking about reliable. You sleep,
Yeah.
you know that this person, has got my back.
Mhm.
I'm covered. There's nothing wrong with me, and everything. But across the board, financially, physically, and everything, because of what is you've come to like him.
Yeah.
Because we grow in love, we get to
Yeah.
know people based on what they've shared with us,
Yep.
based on what we know about them. So over the time, you've been pumping things into me, and I just believe, oh, Tony is a very good guy,
Yeah.
and I try my best. Suddenly, I just find out that my days, most of the things, or just one, it could be
Mm.
one major thing.
Yeah.
You know, that thing will start having effect on your brain. You start thinking
Yeah.
about it,
Mm-hmm.
then you would automatically think everything he has said
It's
is
a lie.
lying.
Yeah.
So, why trust issues are harmful.
Sorry. So you're trying to say that conscious effort must be made at every time to say it exactly as it is.
Yeah, trust is not only about honesty,
Yeah.
though that's the big word, because it
Mm.
involves cheating,
Mm-hmm.
lying,
Yeah.
manipulations,
Yeah.
and everything. Just that feeling of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even only about infidelity.
Yeah.
Some people, when their spouse cheats on them,
Mm.
that's just it, because they trust you.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is not going to share his body with another person,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
based on your words,
Mm.
and suddenly he's
Mm-hmm.
done it. The reader like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where you hear all men are the same,
Mm.
all women are the same,
Yeah.
because people have been disappointed over the time. And we have viewers already. I'm going to flag. Bless you. Sister Toraya said, keep the good work.
Thank you.
God bless you. Great topic. Thank you, man. God
Mhm.
bless you. She went further to say, trust holds the relationship. That's
Oh
what
yeah.
holds any
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Be it friends, be it family.
Mm-hmm.
If a family, you trust people just because you've learned to rely on them. Okay, Stasha, bless you, man. He
Thank
said,
you.
yeah, said, good evening, man, sir. Well done. Bless
Thank
you,
you.
man. Well done. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So, why trust are harmful? Trust has a lot of benefits that's important for our health as a relation.
Yeah.
As we're married or in this relationship now, we need to be vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
Because why would you be vulnerable? Because you know that this person kind of, you think is open to you, and
Yeah.
she thinks is open.
Mm-hmm.
So you're vulnerable. You can leave your bank card. You can leave your things anyhow. You can go out. Even when you're sleeping, you just believe, oh, this person will take care of me. He will
Yeah.
take care of me. She will take care of me. So it makes us vulnerable, and that's why some people now, when trust issues are in place,
Mm.
they build a wall around themselves. You remove that vulnerability,
Yep.
because when you love people or you trust them, you're vulnerable. If they say go, you
Mhm.
believe it is a go. Come is a come. But the moment you find something, so it makes you being able to be yourself, feel safe and secure, focus on positivity,
Mm.
increase closeness. So these are the benefits of trust, because we have to talk about the benefit before we start talking about, you know, why lack of it. What tonight, in the next 1 minute, now we'll start going to the lack of it in relationship, because
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. It is so damaging.
Mm-hmm.
It is damaging. In fact, okay, there's a comment. I know, bless you, on Instagram. Withholding information about yourself may also be considered as lying,
Mm-hmm.
as regarded as lying. Does honesty include telling your new spouse every minute detail about yourself prior to meeting each other? Reverend, that's for you. She said, and this is very important. She said, does honesty include telling your new spouse every minute's detail about yourself prior to meeting each other?
You want me to answer?
I think you should answer that.
As far as I am concerned, we have treated this on this platform before.
Not in this light.
Yeah, not necessarily in this light, but what we are saying, the question is,
Yeah.
do you have to tell your new spouse or your new found love
Mm.
everything about your past?
No, that's not what she's saying. Does
What did she
honesty
say?
include telling your new spouse every minute detail about yourself prior to meeting each? Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
basically spilling the beans
Yeah,
about
explaining
you.
yeah, you have to. But one aspect that I am personally against is when you have had relationships in the past. Of course, probably your newfound love knows that you've had relationships. But there are some details about that relationship that your new spouse, especially men, does not want to hear. An example is my former boyfriend used to take me to Dubai. My former boyfriend, this is the style of sex that we used to have. All those things, I don't think any man wants to listen to it. Probably some women are happy to hear about it. But the truth is that your spouse already knows that you had a relationship before. Like I told Dolly, I have married a brand new girl who has never been married before. Anything that had to do with our previous relationship, as far as I'm concerned, is gone and it's gone. I don't want to be reminded. I don't want to be told. Some people will call it jealousy. Why will I not be jealous? So my answer to that question is that yes, tell him, tell her, but there are some aspects that I think does not add value to your new relationship.
Okay, I think we discussed something like this during adding value. But I think
Yeah.
in this context, it's better because why people say I don't trust him again, or he broke my trust or whatever, is when they find out things that you did not disclose. So I think she's talking more of about disclosure, full disclosure. But it's so annoying sometimes. It's so annoying. I'll give you an example. When I was still single and people asked me out over the phone or they introduce me to somebody, it does my head in that I have to introduce and tell people what I've gone through in life. So I try not to until I know that it looks like this is going to be a serious relationship.
Yeah.
I remember when I met Reverend, all I just did for when he showed each other, I just gave him a copy of my book. Just go and read it. Don't ask me
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
And he went and he was like, I said, go and read it. And he came by, was like, wow. So because I know that I need to save, I got to a stage.
Mm.
I got tired. So, but from what I know you say, if I want to balance it, is
Yeah.
we need to say everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't say, let's assume some people will say, okay, because of maybe you had a child before, you not say you've had a child before. Your husband will now find out, your
Of
wife will find out.
course.
That's lying.
Mhm.
So by every major thing, it may not be yesterday I woke up and everything, but every may just give a summary to
Exactly.
say, it's just like they give you presentation to present yourself. I was once married, I had one child, we separated, or it was divorced, or I had two women, or just say it, and that is it. And when they are going, like he said, when they are going into intimate relation
Yeah.
details, I think dignity wise, you don't
Yeah.
need to say, oh,
Mhm.
when I was with him 7 months.
Mhm.
In fact, when I even want to say things like the Reverend is always telling me, to be honest, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you're a virgin. I married a brand new woman. You've never
Yeah.
been married.
Yeah.
A brand new woman that's never been married with two children.
Oh yeah, it's possible.
It's very
It's
impossible.
possible. It's
We know
possible.
after it happened in the
In my own
Bible.
dictionary, of
After
course, biblically, it's
yeah,
possible.
Mary got pregnant.
Exactly. There is an example.
It is
Yeah.
we know. So
Yeah.
well, we know we are we know. So, anyways, so on healthy relationship, so signs that you have, because we are going somewhere tonight, and I want you all to please ask us questions, but we are going to end it by how do we rebuild trust? I always hear that thing that once trust is broken, nothing can be. A lot of things can be done, but it's not automatic. There's no rocket science to say that it will work, because the way we react to things differ. So, signs, one of the signs of few signs I'm going to mention, but one of the signs of where you have trust is you start having unhealthy relationship. You struggle to build good relationship, your relationship will break. You have to deal with it, because you just assume, hey, it comes again, they have come again, that's all of them. It's st generalization. You quickly generalize. Oh, all of them are the same thing. All sisters are the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you expect from them? All men are the same thing. I can't trust men with my money in my life. I can never. It's because trust. So we start having unhealthy relationship with our colleagues, with our friends, and then you don't know the eyes they are using to look at you,
Mhm.
because you are so blindfolded in your trust issues, and because you're trying to build like a bubble around yourself, you don't know that other people are seeing you as being inconsistent,
Yeah.
because one of the things is because you are struggling from trust issues, then other people will see you too as not being trusty,
Mhm.
because you'll
Yeah.
be hiding that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I have trust issues now. I don't trust you that you could jute me. Then I'll start doing hanky panky.
Oh yeah.
Then you, innocent person, doesn't know where you're coming from.
Mhm.
That's why sometimes it's good. Going back to what Anu says, if you've been betrayed or you
Yeah.
suffer soft trust issue, I think it's good for you
Oh yeah.
to tell your husband. Because
Mhm.
when I met Reverend, when I just gave my book to him, just go and read. You want to just go and read, don't know where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
You know where I am before I bite you. When he read, he was like, yeah. I said, really? I said, yes. So let us know what we are doing. So having that at the back of his mind, some issues he treats it, very carefully, because he knows that if not being careful. So I will go with that to say it is very necessary to say those things
Yeah.
that affect you, but
Yeah.
so that other person can help you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it
Exactly.
destroys.
Yeah.
It destroys that
And that has
relationship.
helped us a lot.
He helped us a lot. He
Yeah.
knows we know where to walk around.
Yeah.
And when I'm going, he quickly say to me, he allows me to finish, and he quickly chides to say, I know this happened, but this is a new relationship, because he knows where we're coming from. So it took a long period. I remember during our counseling as well. And that's why for those that are not married, and even those that are married, counseling, we used to have 2 hours counseling for, like, I think we did for 6 weeks, and a lot of things we said, and I didn't even know some baggages. Even as a counselor myself, I didn't realize I still have some baggages on me. And the man would just say, and I'll start going on because of what he hasn't done or contributed to. And you just say, I understand, but I'm not good. I'm really this, but I'm not going to take this. I'm like, what do you mean? So, but over the time, by the grace of God, with prayer, we resolve. So it's necessary. Why I'm saying this is, it's necessary for you to let that person know where you're coming from. Otherwise, they'll see you as inconsistent. You want to say something before I go on?
No, continue.
All right. The next one, which is closer to this, is lack of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because you are not forgiving that person, you are not forgiving yourself.
The bitterness.
Most of us that suffer from trust issue, we bear the brunt of it.
Yeah.
But we are not called to bondage. And that's why we have to look at ways of rebuilding trust, because one person has disappointed you, or jilted you, or lied to you, or manipulated you in your business, or done something for you, and because of that, you've written everybody off. Can you imagine how? Do you know how that thing is so bad?
Yeah.
Some people are like, I said, some people, they can't even. I used to know somebody that cannot even drink at his brother or sister's house.
Like you said, it's like someone putting himself or herself in bondage.
Yeah, it is. It is bondage.
You keep on carrying
a burden
that is not yours, that's not necessary. Why not forgive?
Yeah.
And put that behind you.
Yeah.
So that you can start on a clean slate.
To be honest with you, it impacts your life. It affects your entire life.
Emotional, physical.
It's something. Emotionally, physically, it affects you, and the inability to forgive and forget. So somebody has jilted you. Yeah, he duped you, took your money, or he betrayed you, or he lied to you.
Let me give you an example. I counseled someone who lost a friend, and he said to me, even up to his death, I refuse to forgive him. And even now that he's dead, I still cannot forgive him.
Can you see how trapped you can get? Okay, there's another comment here. Okay. I know the first, sorry, my darling, just hold on 1 second. Because with Instagram, I'm going to lose it if I don't read it quickly. Okay. When in a new relationship, check how the friends that your boy or girlfriend friend. If your friend is dishonest and manipulative, but she's your close friend, it could be a rough. Let me read that again. I think I wrote it. When in a new relationship, check out the friends that your boy or girlfriends. Okay, check out their friends. If your friend is dishonest and manipulative, but she's your close friend, it could be a red flag.
Show me your friend.
And I know who you are. It's good to check them. It's good to check them. People we flock with, okay, there's for looking at it, you bless you. Greetings from greetings, Reverend and Reverend Dosumu. We are cool.
Thank you.
And thank you. Good to see you. Good evening, lovely couple of God. We there here. We there here. Right. So you see, lack of forgiveness. Thank you. Looking lovely. If you know what I've been through today is wonderful. But we are good. We don't look like what we've been through. We're always rushing. It's one thing or the other. I looked at Reverend this evening. I pitied him. I said, this man. I said, are you tired? About 5 minutes to this. I said, are you tired? He said, why would I be tired? We've been dragging ourselves all over the place. But
so you can imagine that guy. It took me a long time before I could convince him.
Yeah.
That look, this guy is even dead. And you are still carrying that burden.
So that person is trapped. They can't move
forever. In fact, it took me about 6 sessions because before I could get him out of it. So this is how people put themselves in bondage. Lack of forgiveness. Go ahead.
Yeah, I spoke about distancing yourself.
Mm.
You just kind of, like, in line with what he said. Can you imagine that person? You kind of build a wall around yourself. You start filtering your friends, filtering people in church.
Yeah.
You see, I see that's the most important thing. The part for me out of everything. I just say, you hear something. I can't tell my pastor anything. I said, why you in that church? He said, you don't know. You don't trust. If you don't trust man, how can you? You can't trust God if you don't trust man.
Yeah.
I tell people, I don't fear pastor, I fear God. I said, show me the seat of God in your sitting room. Tell me where he's sitting. As we are now, tell me where God is sitting. This is God. You are God in us. We are little gods. He created us in his image and likeness. So you have to learn to build on relationship. Some people are bad. There's nothing we can do about that. So we have to understand. But like Reverend said, this person is dead. And you're still holding on to. So a dead person is still has it takes a long period. It's not something that it's not, like I said, it's not that something that you just don't do in the jiffy. But we all right, Sister Toyin, good evening, man. She said she's just joined. Please, is the topic forgiveness? No, the topic is trust issues, man. But out of it, we are talking about the reason why we don't trust is because somebody betrayed our trust. We've defined what trust is all about, factors and things like that. But we're not talking about, how to know the signs and then the danger about it. You start distancing yourself from other people. You build a wall, then you focus so much on the negative. We focus so much on, I can't allow it. Why no? You remember Mr. Lagbaja? You remember what he did to me 10 years ago? I will not take it again. No man.
No man.
No man. No man. No. I know. You see, usually when we go into relationship, we ought to be vulnerable. It's disastrous if anything happened to anybody. But through prayer, I'm telling you, we can get out of it. I think when we hold on to that issue, it now becomes a stronghold in our life. And the bad thing about it, you are the one that suffers it. We are the ones. If I can't trust him again, I can't trust her again. He's gone. That's his own attitude. So he's used his bad manners now to come and destroy your own good manners.
You used to say something. Management of information. There are some people, when you tell them the truth, they cannot take it.
Disclosure, they can't handle disclosure. That's what I always say. Most of us, we want disclosure. But how many of you, if your husband comes home to say, my daddy, what to share? Pardon me. I know you will kill me. Pardon me. Most of us will say, no. Are you sure you forgive? I forgive you. You just want to
tell me.
Just tell me. I will be there for you. Say, that Sister Choir Mistress. Pregnancy. I'm the one responsible. You are the one responsible. Yaomi, forgive me. I'm forgiving you. That is so.
She's boiling water.
Sometimes I wonder why ladies go and search through their husband's phone. What do you want to see? You will not be able to handle the truth. So don't search. And that's why trust is important. Trust him. I trust him that he will do something silly behind me. He trusts me. So I won't snoop around. The moment you start snooping around, you will say something that will cause you wahala.
That you may not be able to handle.
You may not be able to handle. So if we are not too sure of the guy or the woman, maybe we shouldn't snoop around. But I think for a child of God, in all fairness, we spoke about this thing from the start of this program. It's bearing it down. But you that you know yourself, sometimes it's better not to know than for you to really know.
I blamed a guy. I didn't judge him, but I actually blamed him because the wife actually made a disclosure and he flared up. And the next thing, he left the house for 4 days.
Wow.
And I said to him, sit down and tell me, in your entire life, tell me you don't have a secret that you are keeping. This girl is being honest. I expect you to appreciate her for telling you the truth. What am I trying to say? Let us learn how to handle disclosures. If somebody respects us well enough to tell us the truth.
Wherever we
Let
women, our
us-
body they hard to.
But it doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't end well sometimes.
I'll give you a good example. I'm going to read for Lucas' comment. I'll give you an example. Was a
Yeah.
case this guy,
Mm.
loving relationship, been married for like 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
For one, they had 2 children. He had to travel to some other part of the country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Mm.
something happened.
Yeah.
He slept with
Somebody-
another lady.
Mhm.
The lady wasn't pregnant, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Please, if your husband, because one of these days maybe we have to talk about this thing.
Mhm.
If your husband respects you, there's another question about which I don't want to bring tonight.
Yeah.
That if he respects me,
Mm.
should he tell me that I slept with somebody?
Mm.
That somebody has asked me that question, and I think one of these days we could treat it.
Yeah.
We could treat that if we are mindful. If you don't forget, we can do that next week. Okay. So this guy came back. He's got conscience, a Christian.
Yeah.
The woman wasn't pregnant. Nobody saw him. There wouldn't have been no flame. He got home. His conscience just could not look at his wife. And one day he called her and said, "Sweetheart, or darling, or whatever, I've offended you, blah, blah, blah. This is what I did." Actually, no. He went to report to somebody who's supposed to be like a man of God.
Mm.
And that man said, "Go and speak to your wife." That's it.
Yeah.
And then he went. Restitution.
Yeah.
And sometimes some restitution, I don't
The
understand.
one has actually broken it. I'm going to talk about
This
it.
broke the home till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Over
This
5-7
is-
years. It's collapsed.
42 years marriage. This man made a disclosure of what he did maybe 12, 13, 15 years ago.
Restitution.
Restitution. Yeah. And the woman said, "No more." As if it was a joke. 1 year, 2 years, they had nothing to do together. The woman said, "No, I can't take it." Eventually, the marriage came to an end. If over 40 years of marriage. That's why we are talking about disclosure. We should be able to handle
Disclosure
this.
and trust issues.
Yeah.
You should be able to. If you're not able to, just say,
Someone
don't
is,
say it.
honest enough
to tell you
tell
something.
Yeah.
You have to go for counseling.
Yeah.
Let's not be too rigid.
Yeah.
But let's go back to this topic. So
everybody has a secret.
Everybody has something, but
Everybody.
it's good for us
Yeah.
as believer to spill the beans. Tell your spouse, disclose.
Yeah.
I've got a child, that things that that if he or she hears tomorrow, it's going to be trouble.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody knows something, by the time they say it to them, you say, "Yeah, my husband told me, my wife told me,"
Oh yeah.
and but anyways, so Lucas said, if God bears with us, we need to bear with people. It's not easy to trust as a matter of confidentiality may be exposed. Yeah, that's another thing. It's not everybody that you can confide in, but what we're trying to say is it's good. When we try to trust people, it's good for our mental health as well. So I'm going to talk about causes of trust issues. Betrayal in relationship is one of the causes. Infidelity. Infidelity is so bad that you just be like, especially some of us that that you've kept yourself and you just say, so over these years, this man is sharing my bed. It's just annoying. This feeling of hatred just wells up in you, and then trust. So if that woman or man leaves that relationship, a lot of people, simple thing like that, they're just like, I can't take it again. And it's because it evokes a lot of things. Their sacrifice, their faithfulness, and the respect for that man or the woman just is so all along. So betrayal in relationship hurts people. So you're looking at us tonight. Either you're a man or a woman, try not to betray people. Try, because it has a bad effect on them. What you did 5-10 years ago, they can carry it for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
20 years, and it hampers and hinders their whole life. So parental conflicts too. A child looking at their parents. I'm looking at the way my father treated my mother. That's why we are models. We don't know that our children, I said, we are the Bible they read. It's not what we preach. We are the Bible they read. I remember a year or two ago, I was discussing with my son, and he said, no, you're not my role model. My heart popped out. And he said, no, I have a right. I said, you're not my. I was like, what have I done? How have I failed?
Mm.
And he said, oh no. So he now smiled. I said, not about that, but I see you as you're my pastor, and you're too strict. I want to have a free life. I don't want to be a pastor, so I don't want you to role model me in that. I said, if it is that one, bless God. But you know what I'm trying, and that taught me a lesson that these children are looking at. So they said, no, mom, you have not betrayed me or disappointed me or done anything. You tried your best and everything over the years, but it's just that you don't have a life, according to him. He said, you don't have a life, and I don't want to be a pastor because I can't be there for everybody and don't have a life. So I'm like, oh, if it is that. So what we are trying to say is, we are the Bible that these children are reading, you know. So please, conflicts, let's resolve it. I remember in those days, you know, I'm sorry, Reverend, that I'm referring to this, doesn't like me referring to my past. When we had issues, we will go, and to the extent that there's a gentleman, there's a guy that was living with me, a member of the church. He didn't know what was going on. And I had serious issues in the house because I know that boy is there. We're mentoring him, we're mentors for him. So whatever we do will break in. So don't be careless. Even if there are issues, I'll go to the church office. I'll just say we need to talk. Or in the middle of the night in the room with TV, we'll talk, but we'll not scream. Do you understand? So that people, because our own actions, so parental conflicts really affects children. So people are just like, is this what marriage is all about? I've seen what my dad's done to my mom trial. I've seen what my mom's done to my father. Did trial. That's it. So parental conflict is another thing. I'm reading Lola Fomi's comment. Thank you, Fomi. Good evening, Sama. There's a need to apply wisdom also. When you have had a trust issue in the past, it takes divine intervention not to react and to get it off your mind. We need to also pray about it and be sure before saying it. It can be tough, but God will help. That's what we're saying. Thank you so much. It's not easy because these people will tell you restitution. Go and tell him that you aborted or you did this one. The man will just look at you and say, hey, I've seen it happen. I can't tell the man. The man just took off. The woman was just like, no, I can't take this. So you did this behind me. And it was a man of God that said, go and restitute because you don't know that person's maturity. So disclosure, I always say that. Even we treated restitution in church, I said, okay, are you going to restitute to somebody that is dead? Restitute to God. Is somebody that is dead? Are you going to restitute? It's gone now. If you stole somebody's money. So let's find peace within ourselves, forgive ourselves, genuine repentance, and move on, because there's some things that if we speak to our spouse about, they won't trust us again. And it's most of the things that you have done when you're still in the world. You know, the Bible says if a man be in Christ, you're a new being. So why are we allowing this past to destroy the future?
There are some couples, when the wife or the husband refuses to be physically connected, what is happening there is most times it is because there is a kind of distrust somewhere. When the Bible says we should be naked and not be ashamed, it's not talking about physical nakedness
alone.
It's talking about emotional nakedness also. I don't expect you, for example, to be emotionally connected to me when I have lied to you.
Obviously.
Or when you have discovered the lie.
Yeah.
So these are one of the consequences of distrust or dishonesty. Your spouse is not likely to be emotionally connected to you.
True.
And this leads to series and series of consequences in a marriage. Not even marriage alone. Although tonight I keep on talking about marriage, because I am particular about marriages. I'm particular, like I said, I've done studies about what usually cause end of marriages. And what I have heard, what I've listened to, if I'm going to write a book about it anyway, like I said. But the truth of the matter is that by the time there is emotional breakup between a spouse, then problem has started already.
Yeah, when you don't trust your spouse,
and quite often it's because of
trust.
And
most of the time, you know why I'm particular, I know where you're coming from, but where I'm particular is most of the trust issues that we bring into our new relationship are things that happened in the past.
Oh yes.
So you make your new partner to suffer for what somebody else had done to you
years
ago. Okay, negative life experiences, for example.
Mm.
So people who have experienced trauma, especially whilst growing up, or they've been raped, or do you understand?
Yeah.
If you don't go for counseling or deal with it, you will not even trust your man.
Yep.
So it's a lot of things. Some trauma has happened, or traumatic things that we've gone through. So it could manifest in different ways. You be having, you find it difficult. Some people can't even have friends. They can't trust people. They can't go out because there's things that happen and they just said, "Oh, this is the way." But everybody is not like that. So we have to look. So let's start talking about how to overcome. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's so much about. It's so much about what we're saying. So trust issues are very, very important in any relationship, in any of our relationship, and we have to work on it. If you've been disappointed at some point, if you've been neglected, if you've been abused, or something has happened, stop carrying it into this new relationship. The trust issues destroys your future. It's lack of forgiveness, and then you hold on. So let's now talk about how to overcome trust issues, because trust issues, whether we like it or not, most of us have suffered it. Especially most of us Africans, not even African, you've been disappointed. So how do we overcome trust issues? I think, like I said, there's no rocket science. You have to start building trust slowly. So let's now bring this back to the context of relationship, because when it's too wide, we will not be able to put it under the same umbrella. So if we bring it under the issue of marriage or relationship or courtship, how do we bring when somebody has disappointed you? Let's assume that your husband, for example, your wife, just woke up one day, you found out there's got a child out there, or is embezzled, or is lied, or everything you built your trust on. Like Reverend said from the start, he's told you that he's son of a popular man, and then you found out that it's not.
He himself is not popular.
It's not. He said, "Oh yeah," he said he's son of a popular man, but himself is not popular. It's relatively unknown. And then you'll be like, no. So those kind of things. I don't know if anybody wants to suggest anything online before we go into that. It's I'll fill in the gap whilst you're thinking of if anybody. I remember years ago, when we're in uni, I met this guy. He was supposed to be my first boyfriend. He was asking me out. Don't be jealous. So that was when I was
I'm
in
already
uni.
feeling jealous.
You're feeling jealous.
Not 30 years ago.
That was like 30 years ago. So don't be jealous. Okay. All right. So we'll give you water on top of jealous. So this guy asked me out, and I think it's complex that makes people lie about their past. He lied that even some crazy lies. I could not even imagine it. Crazy lies. And one day I followed him, and I think we had a friend, and we just went to see his house. And then I found out that everything he had said was a lie. For me, that was the end of it, because you're like, well, how do we start from this? I just could not pick. So, and that's the way it affects us. One thing will start leading to the other. Things that you've ordinarily assumed or admitted from him without checking.
Yeah.
My father is the owner of this, my mother is this, and you don't even, then you start thinking, so okay, what if
this is my qualification.
This is my qualification. Yeah, so this is my qualification. People will lie. Don't be gullible. You have to study your spouse to know their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. We know that. But do we hide on that weakness to say that's why we're lying? Is that a weakness?
No. I think what she's trying to say is that try to understand whether your spouse is able to manage disclosure.
Okay, they're still going on about disclosure. Okay.
Yeah, that she's still talking about strength and weakness. If your spouse is not able to manage the disclosure, then what's the point?
True.
So I'm still going to talk about communication, because all these things we are talking about, because I think that was where you are going.
Yeah.
If it happens in a marriage relationship, it still boils down to sitting down and talking about it.
It is very important to talk about it and be calm.
We talk a lot. We share some of the things that have happened in the past. It's not as if we don't talk about it.
We've said everything. But after we got married,
we even try to understand
Yeah.
where we are coming from.
Yeah, I remember
There are some
sometime there was
things-
a day I sat and I told
yeah.
you something, I was emotional about it, and
Yeah.
you asked me that question.
Mm.
Can I ask you a question, Daddy? I said, well, so why are you telling me this? I looked at him, I believe there's something wrong with this man. You want to marry me? You're asking me, why am I telling you this? And I was torn. I said, because I thought you should know. And he felt for me, he said, oh, you've gone through so much.
Yeah.
And he said, but that is he ended up by reassuring me, he said, that is your past.
Yeah.
And that doesn't define who you are. You are amazing, you are
Exactly.
this and that and that and that.
Exactly.
So but it's good. We say everything, but we don't tarry on it.
Yeah, but we don't. It's because I have that strength to gulp what you have said to me. Some people don't have that strength. Some people now, assuming it's capitalize on it. Yeah. So
true.
that's why this is very important.
True.
You need to study
his strength
and weakness.
And if you realize he doesn't have liver, don't she doesn't have. Don't go and start telling them. You just lose your man or woman for lack of wisdom. Because sometimes when
somebody said it there, you have not read it. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
that's what she said. No, Fume said it before that we should use wisdom. I read that earlier on.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry.
You see, it's very important. Sometimes when we go to church and the preacher is talking, the preacher is not in your shoes. It's not in your home.
Oh, yes.
For example, people have made errors when it comes to restitution.
Yeah.
The preacher is just telling you go and restitute. It's not all things that you can restitute. Let's be very factual.
Yeah.
It's not all things that you can restitute. Now, what if you can't see that person again? Like that man, I said, he confessed, and that's enough.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is don't do it. Jesus said to that adulterous woman, he said, go, woman, you forgive your sins. So he said, go and sin no more.
No more. That's it.
He didn't start telling her to start going and meet those people that she slept with and say, you see, and meet their wife, you see. Yes. Madam, let me tell you something. I know Jesus has healed me. I'm a new being, but I used to sleep with your husband. Acid, they will put acid on. So there's something that takes wisdom. Like what Foluke said, it's not everything that we can learn to balance, know who you've married, their strengths and weaknesses, and then take it from there. Right. I'm going to read this comment. Foluke said, don't trust your wasteful spouse in big serious financial matters, so you don't get out of family matters. Don't trust your wasteful. That's very important. You know that the man is so wasteful, the woman is wasteful.
How about foundation?
What do you mean foundation?
Did you not know before you became the spouse?
They don't know. Some people. Somebody was just telling me something today that somebody when you find somebody that's is wasteful, like what you're saying, and that kind of a thing, and the woman is a marriage of 20 years, so it didn't start like that. That's what I'm trying to say.
So the man suddenly became wasteful.
I think it's addiction or something.
Sister Foluke, what if it's the woman that becomes wasteful?
Yeah.
I'm standing for men now.
Yeah, don't trust them.
I'm standing up for men now.
Maybe I'm standing for women. It doesn't matter what the person is wearing. Yes, thank you, ma. Proverbs 4, that should be Proverbs 4:7. Say wisdom is the principal thing you're get understanding. Thank you, Mommy Shade. That's true. Please let's be very careful. If your spouse is wasteful, whether man or woman, don't trust them with your finances. They'll just, you see, wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom that we need to apply. I don't want to go into the story of Abigail and Nabal in the Bible. She has wisdom. The man was just foolish. So if you know that in this aspect, let's go back to how to build trust, though, because people have hijacked wisdom and everything here. E.g., I should be overdoing things like party. That's it. Some people will not think. Some people are freelance. I think it's all about communication. I'm counseling a couple that just want to get married now, and I spoke to them. We were talking about finances. I said these are things you should do because foundation matters. Please, for us, family and parents, let's invest time in letting our children go through counseling. I'm telling you, we can never know enough. And they are children. We are trusting them out. They're going to see a lot of things. Sometimes they don't know the way it is. So, but in line with what Foluke said, As much as you trust your husband
Mm.
or your wife,
Or your
if
wife.
you realize it's reckless,
Mhm.
you start getting hurt.
Yeah.
So that is trusting, because that's taking us into building slowly. How do we build trust slowly? We need to talk about this. Everything we have said, please include parenting in marriage counseling. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, parenting. Yeah, some of them will just sleep, and in fact the baby will be crying. Cry, parenting. They come out. A lot of things happen nowadays where you hear, you'll be like, so in fact, I counseled a lady this week. In fact, I said, what? You got to say that I spoke to my husband. I said, is this for real? Because she's just in another world. Another world completely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this person marries, this is time bomb waiting to just bust.
Mm.
She doesn't even have a clue. Okay, anyway, let's go. So trust, how do we have to build slowly? What do we mean by slowly? So let's assume it won't be our portion. Let's assume that I caught him cheating on me, or he caught me cheating on him, or I saw a lie, and I'm just like, I'm never going to trust Tony again. Tony lied to me. Tony lied to me that he has PhD. Eh?
Didn't just like to be called a doctor.
Yeah.
He has a PhD.
He has PhD. He just say, yeah, I don't call me a doctor, but I have PhD. What some people are just cheap.
Yeah.
You kind of lie some people. Who does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
And they will just say things like that. So, and I just find out suddenly that this person is secondary school is got to and everything. It's going to affect everything I've said.
Yeah.
So tell us how. Let me read these 2 comments, and then we'll say, how do we now kind of build that trust slowly? Because one of the reasons why we're talking about this thing tonight is a lot of people say, no way, I don't trust him again. I can't continue this discussion. He slept with our house help. Yeah, I'm reading this comment. Sister Toyin said, in response to Sister Folike about a wasteful spouse, it's easy. Don't mix business with pleasure. Prenuptial can be an option. Prenuptial arrangements. If you sign a prenuptial arrangement and he behaves, and 3 or 5 years after that, he starts showing you, I think God will just help us. You see, we can try everything that we're trying. When we are in the real thing, it is only God that can help us. Prenuptial arrangement is the kind of arrangement you sign with your spouse, maybe with a lawyer or somewhere, agreement as we are going to this. So this is your limitation, this is my limitation, this is it, because you don't trust him. But is that not what we're saying? We're already entering into a marriage of doom. To be honest with you, I will not even enter in the marriage with anybody with a prenup. I won't do prenup with anybody. I won't. If my words is not a bond, or your words is not a bond, I will marry you. Because can you imagine? I've already taken you to a lawyer or something to say, because I don't trust you. So how would I? So remember, because you joined late, we spoke about being unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It affects us. So it's one of those things, and that's why people do prenup, because you've been disappointed before. You've heard about people they bring into the country and they become Igodaga on top of you. Sorry, and become there that I'm not going to take chances with this person. I will not marry. For me, but we're different. I will marry. If I don't trust you, I can't marry you. I will not even go into it, because we're gonna end it before we start. So Anu said, how do you build trust after unfaithfulness in marriage? Reverend, over to you.
I'm not going to say on this platform that everybody, at least according to the Bible, we're all sinners. It's not only unfaithfulness that is sin in a marriage. Let's be factual. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it is right. But what I'm trying to say is that if we look at the book of John 8:7, it says, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone. We all know this story. So where I'm coming from on this point is that it still comes back to, it takes truth in that relationship to rebuild that trust. It takes the one that has been hurt to be ready to forgive. It takes the one that has hurt to be able to say, I'm sorry.
It's true.
It takes both of them to be ready for it. Because if one is not ready, the other one is just wasting time.
Yeah, but it's
So,
to
yeah.
take you by your.
Yeah.
You see what we're trying to say. We're building a relationship now.
Yeah.
We love each other.
Yeah.
We have. Remember, I discussed what trust is all about, and
Mm.
trust. If I go back to definition, is trust is the belief that another person is honest and reliable.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that you can depend on that person because they
Mhm.
offer safety and security.
Yes.
Trust has been described as a firm
Mhm.
belief in their ability, strength, and
Mhm.
reliability.
Yeah.
So now you are telling me that somebody has been unfaithful, slept with my house help, or has been banging my house help,
Yeah.
or my friend. You know, some people are even so bad.
Mm.
Is there? Or have you not had cases of where husband will sleep with their mother-in-law or
Let
sister-in-law?
me remind you of something.
Yeah.
There's something we always remind ourselves from time to time. Was it yesterday or today that you said there is no fire without smoke?
Yeah.
There is no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is right to be unfaithful. What I'm saying is that for anything and everything, every error committed, every sin, there is always a reason. I'm not saying it's good to give an excuse. Some people give excuse for whatever, unfaithfulness or whatever wrong. But what I'm saying is that whatever the level of the sin, there is no sin that we cannot forgive. We treated this in the church a few weeks ago. We gave series and series of examples of people that have even one woman, the son was killed, and he was the one that was responsible for the rehabilitation of somebody that killed her own son. Can you compare that with unfaithfulness? So there is no level of mistake, of error, of sin committed in a marriage that cannot be forgiven, in my own opinion. For as long as it's not violence, that I will not take.
Even for violence, you can forgive him, but you remove yourself from it.
Exactly.
But in line with what Arno said, because let's be very factual, it is difficult.
It is.
Good evening, mommy. Amma Shamaiko, thank you so much. I'll flash some of this. Thanks. That's for looking. Thanks, Sister Toyin. No mix business with pleasure. Fuluke said every relationship has level of trust until proven otherwise. Yeah. So Arno says forgiveness is the easiest part. However, trusting the person is the question. How do you trust this person again? There are two things. From if your husband sleeps with your house help, for example, let's use your best friend. It takes time to forgive that person. Or your wife. It's not only men that are bad with things like that. We're just using that. So how do you trust such person? You forgiving, you it's painful, but at the place of prayer, you will learn to forgive him because you know you're a sinner yourself. And one of the things we have to understand is every sin, like in Nigerian people say, all that like that, all sin are sin. They understand every sin is sin. It's the same gravity before God.
I have heard of a woman that slept with the houseboy. And this person I remember very, very well. Many, many years before he got married, as boys, he said something. He said, if I meet my wife and a man in our bedroom doing whatever, I will forgive her. Do you know it's actually happened to him? And they are still together today.
I think it's
I'm not saying it's as easy as I'm saying it. All I'm saying is, if you choose not to forgive your husband that slept with your house help, you are in bondage for as long as you don't want to release yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like you used to tell me,
yeah.
If we have a disagreement, if we refuse to settle it today, if it takes 3 days, we are still going to settle it. Why don't we settle it today?
That's what I say.
So if you still want to be in that marriage,
we'll talk about it.
Why don't you sit down and talk about it, Mr. Man? This one you do is no good.
No good.
Let's put it behind us so that you continue.
You leave it and brood for 3 days. You still talk about
it. And continue with your marriage. Otherwise, you will remain unhappy in that marriage. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying you should leave. I've had women that leave their marriages because of that. They left it for their house help. But the truth of the matter is that it's not a solution.
Yeah, I think because I've been
Yeah.
in this kind of relationship before, and it's difficult.
It is.
I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
A few people online can relate with that with me that knew that was part of it through my journey. And it was not easy for me to continue to love that person despite the fact of the infidelity and things that I knew was going on. It took God, and I remember at the place of prayer, even in church, when there's praise worship, people are praising. I will kneel down there. You think I'm just being slain under the Holy Spirit? I'm crying that God renew a new heart in me. How can I love this man again? Despite everything. So I forgave him. I start seeing him. Like I was trying to say before, Reverend came in on that. Sin is sin before God. The gravity of somebody that slept with your friend and the one that stole your money or lied is the same before God.
Your bank account.
Yeah, it's the same. But the impact it has on us is damaging. Why? Because of what we define as what trust is. You know, it is so damaging because you've held that person in high esteem. Your husband, you valued him, your wife. Suddenly you'll be like, wow, it's demeaning. So you're like, no, if this person can do this. And then devil has a way of escalating these things in our mind. So I think, like what you said, that person that had already said it, that even if this happened, is prepared. So I think in a way we should prepare our minds
for whatever,
for things so that we don't suffer. Because my issue is we are the ones suffering from these issues that they've done to us. That perpetrator is gone. He's probably doing other things. So it's good for us. And like I was saying, I used to be bitter and I'll cry. I forgave him, but I struggled at the place of trust. I won't lie to you. I forgive him will be okay. The moment he goes out and I cannot explain, or I feel it's kind of the story does not connect, I become cold. So the first thing that comes to your mind is, has he done it again? Has he done it again? Then remember when it's time for the other room, I get angry in my spirit just because we're not sure whether something is still going on. So that's what we're talking about trust. So I will now say the things that you should do. Yet our timekeeper is telling us that time is going. The no excuse for wrong, but forgiveness is key. That's what Folike said. Let me flag. Folike says the level of distrust will determine if the relationship should continue or not if you forgive them. There's no level of distrust. It's the same thing. You see, that's where people struggle. The worst is infidelity. Somebody sleep with, it's just like if somebody not sleep with your mother. Some people are, to be honest with you, that's why Jesus says it's because of hardness of our hearts that Moses said we should divorce. You see, divorce is not allowed, but in case of infidelity and you cannot find it in your heart to live with that person, instead of living in bitterness, it's better. But if we can pray, and then this is we have to build this slowly. So if your husband slept with, or your wife, sorry, I know my husband will be thinking, hey, so husband is sharing you bring operation deal with them. We are gonna agree. So we have to understand that we have to talk about this issue. Speak to him. Know what led to. Maybe it's because you have not even made yourself available. Because when we are blaming them, temptation, like a man that went abroad and then his libido whim, and then secretary, he couldn't control himself. So talk about it. What led to it? Sit the person down. Let's find out how we can build it first. Don't just say, I can never take this, and we go. So build it slowly and then talk about the issue. You don't need to talk about the details of how they went to the hotel and it was Premier Inn and whatever, and just find out. But you have to distance, make it a priority now. Let's read this. Continuous distrust is big issue. Can you remain? That's it. They are asking you a question. I wanted to talk about that. If it is one time, I think we should be able to forgive. It's painful. Therapy, we're going to talk about it now. But continuous, unrepentant sinner, that's what they're saying. So that person doesn't value you. doesn't respect you, I wouldn't say we should continue such, because that's abusive relationship.
We can make this a topic some other day because it's very, very huge. But my own is that much as I don't condone continuous distrust, I still believe in a place of prayer. Things can change.
Somebody is sleeping with your son or daughter continuously.
There are various ways of. There are therapists. There are counselors.
Because it's continuing in it. That means it's not repented.
What effort are you making to help her? What effort are you making to help her?
Can I scratch you? Are you in this world?
I'm in this world.
Yeah,
All
sure.
I'm saying to you is that, look, continuous sin of any type is like our children. When they do something wrong today, they still do the same thing tomorrow. There are some women, you will tell them something like Sister Fuluke said, a woman that likes to go to parties. If it's in her gene or in her philosophy, it takes a long time for you to be able to get her out of it. It doesn't mean you won't be able to get her out of it, but it takes time. Perseverance is what we are talking about.
Yeah, but when somebody is continuous, Reverend, let's talk about
continuous.
Not you.
How continuous? No, what you are talking about.
No, okay. Let me give you an example.
Give me an example.
This man cheated on you
once, yes,
and you resolved it. He begged for forgiveness. Tomorrow they came to call you that Baba Lagbaja has done it again. The neighbor's daughter, whether. Next month again, you forgiving him. You'll catch HIV.
We are going to make it a topic.
Such person forgive, let them go.
No. I'm not going to recommend let them go. But it's something we're going to talk about some other time. It's a huge thing. It's still all about forgive. How many times did Jesus Christ say we should forgive?
We are forgiving them.
This person has not done it seven times.
There's difference between forgiving and continuous living. I forgive you, slept with my mother. Forgive you, slept with my brother.
What you are saying is that person should leave that marriage. It's not as easy as that.
If it's dangerous to your health, it's going to give you Reverend. It's going to give you HIV. It's going to kill you one day.
It's because you anyway. There's no time for this.
Okay, we'll make it. Yeah, we'll make it a topic one day. On this note, we are not agreeing.
No, I don't even want you to agree.
Me, continuous when somebody is detrimental to your health and life and danger to the children.
Yeah.
Somebody was still talking to me about the husband the other day. I was pleading, but when the time she told me what is done, I said, it looks like.
I hope you didn't ask her to leave.
I will not ask anybody to leave.
Okay.
They will do their own business. But I said it looks like
something is wrong somewhere.
So Yoruba do you understand? And Anu said raping a child, a minor, you can't. You have to remove. Even the child has to be removed from that man.
Those are extreme cases.
That's what we're seeing. They're continuous serial people, just like a pedophile.
Two different things.
You want to forgive a pedophile?
No.
You forgive him.
I said that's an extreme case.
We're talking about extreme cases.
I'm not encouraging that. I'm not even. Look, rape. It's a different.
They are asking you questions. Should we continue with such relationship?
What relationship?
If somebody is like raped a child or continuous distrust.
Somebody that continues to commit adultery. Yeah. That's what we are talking about. There's no time to talk about it tonight. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go.
Okay. Yes. We should continue, bro. Just go and do, because that person will bring disease into the house one day.
2 minutes.
That's how one woman died some years ago. I know. She used to come. I know. Anyway, so the most important thing is to build trust. As we round up, you need to be trustworthy yourself.
Yeah.
You always say, most of us, matters that affect mental or physical. Fuluke said that we have to be careful. Yeah. So we have to distinguish and make trust. When you make trust a priority, the first thing you do yourself is to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
Let us see you as somebody trustworthy, stable.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Let's know who you are.
Yeah.
And then to be trustworthy, you have to talk to this person about your issues.
Exactly.
And say, can we do something about it? Let them know about your fears. If you want to build trust with somebody, let's assume he's done something. It's not something of 6 months. It can take up to 2 years in and out of counseling and therapy for that person, because it's damaging to our mental health.
Now you are on my
that
side.
Is if it's a one-off, Reverend, I'm okay. But if it's
How
a
can
serious,
one not be 2 years? How can one not be 6 months?
If somebody sleeps with your daughter or sleep with your mother, your husband sleeps with your mother, this is scar for life. There's some things that hey, forgiveness is different. They'll continue to live with that person. So forgiveness is one thing, remain that relationship is another thing. I think on this note, at some point we will continue this in another way. But this is very important, and I think we can continue next week. Or because we can't brush this on the side. We can't. We have to balance the Bible and reality.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody suffering from domestic abuse. Forgive them, but you want to say to them, forgive them and continue to be like that. Osinachi, they will kill them. Same thing. They're going to give you venereal disease. What do they call it? Sexually transmitted disease. The person is going to die. So, anyways, thank you so much, everyone. They've tapped me, they pinched me, they winked at me. There's nothing they have not done in this studio tonight. But trust me, I will not listen until the end of it. Okay, Boron. But let's round up. So we thank God. Mama Boron, dear. Child protection issues, financial abuse, physical and mental issues, you have to leave when it comes to that. We have to let's be factual. I know you're old school, but we have to tell you the way it is. Thank you, Pastor Shirley. Thank you so much. So we really appreciate everyone. We'll come back your way again next week, Wednesday. If you have any topic, but from this topic, obviously there's been a lot of things that's popped up that we either talk about. And next week, I was actually going to talk about you women when your husband go to Nigeria. Somebody gave me a hot thing. They are killing wives, so I will talk about it as kind of intro.
Men.
It's men that need to be careful. But even the women should, in fact, whatever you're going to do, they say when they do it like this, they just kill them. No, they will not kill the wife.
Yeah.
They said they reported about 5 cases to me yesterday. The man even wanted me to treat it on this platform. I said, yes, what people are doing, especially in Nigeria, let us be careful. Let us pray, approve our husband. And husband, as they pray, approve yourself. Remove Ojukokoro from your wife. You don't just go on and choke one day like this. That's what they are doing now because they want to come and replace the poor woman. Nobody will replace us. Whoever wants us to die will die for us in Jesus' name. So, but let us be careful. So next week, so much we're going to continue. Thank you, everyone that's been online for your support. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. We come back your way, God willing. Thank you, Mommy Pastor Mary Ajayi. So my love to my daddy there. By the grace of God, we'll come back next week. Instagram, everyone. The Lord bless you, shield you. I've called people's name and I've flashed it. Pastor Shola Jaji, to everybody online tonight. We value you and we love you. And Sister Torayo will remain your Sister Fola Shade, the lovely Sister Tola. Everyone, good night. God bless you. And see you next week by the grace of God. Shalom.
Bye.
Bye. You didn't even drink water. You're just talking. Drink water now. Hey, mommy. My husband is being posh. Drink water.